how's it going?
Hey, welcome back.
It's your girl JQ here.
It's Daddy con Pique.
Hola, ¿qué tal? What's going on?
Hope everyone is doing safe. Quarantining safe.
Yes.
You know, the
And
usual.
enjoying your time and making the best out of this time to do stuff that's, I don't want to say essential, but positive and
Yeah.
and using your time wisely, you know? Use it for good things.
Yeah.
You have
They're
plenty of
using this time to really learn about yourself. I feel like I've been going through a little roller coaster of emotions. Like one day I'll be sad for no reason, then I'll be really, really happy for no reason. How to feel. Right. And I'm like, this is a good time to recognize my emotions, myself, who I am.
For sure.
So it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I think. Even
me,
the bad has been good.
For me especially, well, not saying especially over you, but it's been a good time to think. And contemplate the moves I'm going to make once all this is over. You know, I'm just ready to get on with life and start my success. Start aiming for these goals and stuff.
Yeah. Have you picked up any new skills? Anything new that you've figured out you like to do?
Not really. I've just kind of been really adamant about achieving these goals I have with myself. So I've been really contemplating and thinking on those and acting on those.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good though so far.
That's good. I've picked up this really new love for writing. I've been writing a lot.
It's awesome. I used to have notebooks and stuff where I used to write, but I stopped doing that as often. I don't know. Maybe I should start again like you.
It's been fun. It'll be late at night. Now I see why people say oh, all my thoughts get written down, or I write songs at nighttime and this and that, because your mind is just going and going. Yeah. The other night I literally I could not sleep, and I forced myself to get up and just pick up my journal and write. Yeah. And I just started writing and writing and writing. I didn't even take a pause. Girl. It was great. I'm like, woo, needed that.
You know, I think it's also because I heard somewhere that, you know, before you go to sleep, I think I want to say 30 minutes before you go to sleep or whatever, if you study or read a book or something, it's more likely to stay in your mind. So maybe it's just a peak or a heightened sense of something.
Yeah.
Right before, I don't know. That makes sense.
That would make sense. Because you hear that a lot, everyone, at nighttime.
I need to get a book to write my dreams, but I don't dream. Remember I was telling you I don't really have dreams? Yeah.
I have vivid ass dreams every night.
Every night?
It's damn near every night.
What are you eating?
I don't know. I'm not eating anything. Running. Yeah, it's always going.
That's crazy.
I don't know what it is.
Girl, I wish I could dream.
But I heard somebody, not saying that I'm enlightened as fuck and shit like that, but I heard somebody tell me one time that having vivid dreams is kind of when you take care of your body and shit like that, on the outside, when you're eating really, really healthy, and when it's opening up that kind of thing in your brain to dream more vividly.
Hormone in your brain or something?
Yeah.
It's activating something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So they were if you don't eat meat and this and that, not saying that's my reason, because I have no
I was supposed to be well, explains why I don't have dreams.
I really don't have any but that's something I heard that I was oh, that's pretty cool.
But it might be true, you know, I wouldn't not believe it. Mm-hmm. The mind is a crazy thing, so you never know. I mean, anything could be true.
Yeah.
It's very complex.
The mind is so interesting.
It really is. We're going to do an episode on it. The brain.
The brain. Are we thinking yet?
But to go with the topic of today's episode, we're still basing our episodes off of change. Mm-hmm. And today our episode is going to be on divorce and breakups, and the changes that are required, or things that you might go through after a divorce or breakup. Go ahead.
Well, right now, with everything going on, with all the quarantine and the lockdowns and everything like that, divorces have actually increased. In China, the divorce rate has increased, which is crazy. People are spending way too much time together with each other, and they're finding out that they're not liking
being married
to who they decided to be married with, I guess.
I guess it's having that balance, though, trying to.
Yeah.
Because married couples can't just be well, I'm going to go to the weekend house, you know,
Right. I'm going to go out with my friends.
Right. Also, I'm going to stay at a hotel for a couple days. What?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that what were we saying earlier, that I read somewhere that the divorce rate, like 40 or 50% of people divorce after they get married, whether it's a few years later or whatever. But, then we were talking about how these people who've been married for like 60, 70, 80 years, and they go through all types of stuff, but they stay together, they stick it out. And then we're always like, man, I love like that. But nowadays it's just so different. It's like, oh,
But
man,
like
I thought I wanted to be with you, but guess what? Nah.
Right. But a love like that takes a lot more than just love. Like people that have been married like 60 years, love is not going to cut it.
No.
There has to be a lot more that I feel like goes into that relationship. Because life gets messy. Like life gets really messy, and sometimes you're not going to love that person all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like a conscious decision, like, am I going to fight for them? Because I don't know.
I mean, we were even just talking about how, like, some people are married and they're just content and they don't want change, and they just, like, I'm unhappy, but I'm still going to stay in this marriage,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What are some of the difficulties do you think that people deal with after divorce and breakups?
Well, a difficulty that I've never been married, but I can only speak as far as a breakup. But it's that getting back to a different, I guess, kind of like what we're doing now, like our new norm. Like getting a new norm, because we're so used to our normality. Like the norm was being with that person and like talking to that person all the time, and like having that connection with that person. So when you cut it off, you're kind of lost. You're kind of like, all right, what do I do now?
Especially with long-term relationships and marriage, you have all these plans as well, and things, you have your life. You look at your life a certain way, and you have all these plans and these ambitions and these goals with that person, and all of a sudden it's on your own.
Right.
So it's like a big change. It's a big adjustment. So.
And a lot of the times with long-term relationships, it's normal to lose yourself in that. You kind of like have to get used to being on your own. And if you don't have a strong grip on like who you are anymore, because like the person who you are by definition in your head might be, I'm nothing. Like, like some people really think like that. Like, I don't know who I am because who I was with him or with her.
Right.
So I don't know who I am anymore. So like, that's like, you're kind of like lost. You're like kind of like finding your new way.
I think it's very important. That's why, like, it's super important to have your own identity in a relationship, because you don't know. That was kind of a mistake that I made. Well, not a mistake, but, you have to consider your partner. You have to, what am I trying to say? You have to hype them up and, about their dreams. You have to encourage them to do whatever it is they want to do in life.
Right.
But you also have to have your life on the side, too. And I think, I want to say that marriages that are like that last longer. But, you never know. But I would want to think that, okay, we work together well with the kids. We work together on our own. We work together good, on the side. We make time, this and this and that, just that balance. But, hey, a lot of things mess marriages up, though. Little things like that can mess marriages up.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so crazy because you hear, not to say that it's, like, I don't know, like, you hear a lot about divorce after kids. Like, after having kids. And I feel like that's when the true, like, your true self comes out when you have kids. Because you have to kind of, like, you're a team now. Like, now more than ever, you're a team. And if you, I don't know. If you can't, if you don't have a good teammate. If that isn't
just a hump in the road. Not a hump in the road, but, yeah, pretty much a hump in the road. It's just, you can't let things like that. It should grow you. It should grow you and your partner in the relationship. It shouldn't be the opposite, you know? And I think for a lot of people, it's the opposite, because you have more responsibility. You have a lot on your shoulders. You have someone looking up to you, depending on you. So it's like...
And then, I mean, I'm assuming it's like you want to parent one way, the other person wants to parent another way, clashing. Like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Well, we saw that the number one reason for divorce is lack of communication.
Right.
But I think, in my opinion, that's lack of communication, but it's also lack of understanding. Because you can communicate till you're blue in the face, but if the other person isn't understanding you and, like, trying to get to see your point of view, all that talking and all that communicating ain't shit.
Right.
It's just going down, it's like just washed down the drain.
100%. And
it's just like, whatever, like, in one ear and out the other.
Right.
So it's like also having that respect for the other person to want to understand what that person is saying.
Right.
You know, like, I feel like it is lack of communication, but there's also lack of respect, because if you don't respect the other person, if I respect, like, I respect you, you're my best friend, so I respect you. If you're going to tell me something, I'm going to try to understand it the best way I know how, or understand it from your point of view, because I respect you and I care about what you think. But if the other person doesn't care to think about what you're going through on your end, it's a lack of respect, not so much a lack of communication.
And
I feel
consideration for them, you know, like,
exactly,
to understand. They communicate to you why they feel a certain way, and then your understanding as to why they feel that way. You know, I was trying to give relationship advice. And, you know.
no, it's true though.
Yeah.
It is. It's true. And I think that, in my opinion, all my relationships that I've been through has been on a certain level of lack of respect.
Yeah.
On my end too. Like,
what is that? You only. A nigga gonna do only what you allow. No, Cardi quoted Cardi.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I mean, same thing with guys though. You know, you're gonna set it up for yourself as to what you're gonna deal with and what you're not gonna deal with in a relationship, and you have to set those boundaries from the get. You know, so some of the other reasons that we found that people get divorced is money issues, which I feel like is a lot of relationships too. Financial issues, whether it be the man not working, the girl working, or the opposite, you know, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like two people working, you guys are trying to get somewhere, you know, like the money.
Right.
I don't know.
I saw something funny. Sorry, little side note. But I found my friend on Instagram was like doing like a poll thing, like asking a question. And it said, in a household, if you're making more than your spouse, would you pay more of the bills, or would you still split the bills evenly? I said evenly.
I would say evenly too. And then, like, if you needed something, you could ask him or something, you know, if he's making more than you, or if it's you. I just feel like, I mean, because I've seen relationships where the woman is the one controlling all the money. And, like, we're going to plan a trip to Disney, and then we're going to map out everything that's done, you know, for Disney, and we're going to save money. Plus, I'm going to give you $20 for the week, or whatever money I'm going to give you. You know, there's people that are in control like that, but it just depends on your communication about it, too. Because if the guy knows that he's not good with money, okay, I'm going to let you deal with the money, and you handle everything. You pay the bills, you get the clothes for the kids, you do, you know. So, like, it just depends, because there could be a guy that's like, we're both working, I'll pay the bills, and you get whatever we need.
Yeah.
I think that's fair too. Like, I don't know.
I feel like my ass, I'm going to be like, we're going 50-50 on all of this, because if we go 50-50 on the electric and all the lights are on, you're going to understand, and I'm going to understand why all these lights need to be off, because we're both seeing that electric bill. If we're using hella water, and we're going to both be conscious about the water usage, because I'm not about to get annoyed when somebody's leaving lights on, turning up the AC, running the water, because they're not paying the bill and they don't got to see that number every month.
Right.
So, like, I feel
that
like
makes sense.
I feel like, all right, you want to see how much groceries cost so you don't keep eating all the shit when you're bored? We're going half on groceries. You know, like, I feel like that just kind of knocks a lot of argument out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so if I'm making more than my spouse, maybe I contribute to the vacation fund. Maybe that extra money that I'm making, I'll put toward the vacation fund. This and that. All the little extras, you know, like, all right, let me pay for this because, you know, I got it right now. But as far as, like, bills that we both have to deal with, you think it should be the same with roommates.
Yeah.
I think you should see it as roommates, so everyone is on the same level, the same page as far as, should we be doing this? Should we be spending this? Because, you know, when you're not, when it's out of sight, out of mind, you're not like kids. Kids don't think about the electric. They don't got that responsibility.
Right.
So they're constantly leaving shit on. Yeah. Constantly doing whatever the hell they want.
That's the truth, though. That's a good point, though.
Yeah, so I was thinking about that.
Perspective on it.
I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, because obviously I feel like the first thing is like, well, if you're making more money, you pay more of the bills. But if everything's even and everything is fair, that eliminates a lot of arguing.
I think that
in the long run, I
think that is good. The way you're saying it is really good, just because there's an equality there, and then, you know, your money is your money, my money is my money.
Right.
And, like, we'll contribute. If we have savings together, we'll contribute. We'll both contribute.
Right.
It shouldn't be like, Because so many families are used to being like that joint and just putting the money together and then spending it accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, to a certain extent, I think it should be like that. But you should have those boundaries with that too. So that makes sense in the way that you're saying. I can see that.
Then you have some people that, some of those men, especially men, because women do it too, but especially men. Oh, I pay all the bills in the house. What I say goes. Kind of thing, kind of mentality,
Right.
Or like I
You
pay
ain't
all
about to
these
hold-
bills.
you're not gonna hold shit over my head.
First of all, you get half of the electric, so half of this house could be turned on right now, and the rest could, you know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying too. Girl, I'm over here listing the reasons. Okay, another reason. There's a few of them. Weight gain. I was like, damn. I mean, I guess
Y'all
it's
ain't
true.
shit.
I guess it's true though. You gotta like not be the same person that you were beforehand in the beginning of the relationship, but you should want to look your best, to feel your best.
Yeah,
To look good with look good with them, but like
where you don't want to like not give a fuck.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
I
Because
get
I'm
it.
sure they liked you for taking care of yourself and looking your best and stuff like that. Lack of equality. We were just talking about that. Lack of intimacy, expectations, infidelity, abuse, not being prepared for the marriage, losing your identity, which we talked about, jealousy and insecurity, and when you're not married for love. I think those are pretty... Ooh. If you're not married for love, I can't believe that shit still goes on.
Right.
I'm like, what?
If you're not married for love, then you should know that shit's gonna fail.
Man, a lot of people don't marry for love, though. It might not be choice, but then for some people, it is a choice, and they get married to these 80-year-old men just so
For
they
real,
can get
like
money.
he ain't gonna last long.
Let me just get this money real quick, right? That's so
Hey,
funny.
but if it's like my second or third marriage, we ain't marrying for love anymore.
Right.
I got shit
Just
I want to do. But
I mean, we both not low key, but we both had parents who divorced. So like, I'm sure a lot of people have dealt with, or maybe a lot of people who are listening have dealt with that, you know? And if your parents are still together, good for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
They
for
made it.
real.
They made it through the storm.
for real.
But I know our parents got divorced, and they were together like for a long time.
Yeah, wow.
Well, my parents weren't married too long, but it was over 10 years. That's a little thick piece of your life, I feel like, you know? What has divorce done to affect you?
Like my parents' divorce?
Yeah. Or just in general, what has it taught you?
I mean, it's taught me a lot. I kind of got, not that I'm going to say I got like a little hard on the inside, or like, I don't think I've gotten hard or like bitter or anything. It's just I'm very, very cautious
Right.
about who I allow into my life. And that's with everything. Because the person that you think you're going to, like, you know, like, I always am cautious that somebody's true colors can come out at any point.
Yeah.
Any little thing that happens, their
100%.
true colors can come out, and you have to be very ready for that mentally. With anything, you know, with business partners, this
Right.
could go crazy at any moment,
Right.
for whatever reason. And I had posted something on my Instagram years ago, and I just screenshotted it and saved it because it's so true. It's like, okay, I'm going to read it. It says, something we all need to remember is that anyone can be your dream come true when you first meet them. You have no past with them. They have a clean slate. They're on their best behavior. They are observing you, finding out what you like and what you don't. That's how they filter what they show you. It's all surface. It is what they allow you to see. It's human nature. We all do this upon meeting people. This is why it's so important to soak a person in before you attach yourself to them for life and include them in your future. Too often we are crestfallen and we watch relationships fall apart that started out magically. We say people change, but the reality is they are who they always were. We just didn't get to know them deeply enough. So don't rush and don't pile fairy tale attributes upon someone who seems to say all the right things. They're telling you what you want them to hear at first. Give it time and watch the mask fall. And if they look the same, hold on and don't let go.
Oh, wow.
And it's so true. Like, somebody's going to
true.
show you in the beginning what they want you to see.
Yeah.
Or like an interview. I'm going to tell you what you want to know.
That honeymoon phase?
Yeah. And once little things start happening and you start seeing somebody's true, authentic colors, you know, it's up to you to decide if you like that or not. Mm-hmm. But, like, lots of people rush into this idea of love. And I think divorce has shown me, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't rush into this whole idea of, oh, fairy tale, oh, I love you, oh, you're the best, and you're, and it's also shown me that everyone has flaws. Everyone is fucked up. Of course,
no one is perfect.
Right. Everyone is fucked up.
You just gotta find out if they're fucked up is what you're willing to do.
Right. You gotta decide if, like, you like they're kind of fucked up or if you don't.
Yeah.
And that takes time. So, like,
and that's something that definitely, like, you got to take yourself outside of how you feel and all giddiness and all that. And you have to look at the realistic, part of it and be real with yourself, be mature about it. I think that's just, you learn that as you grow, too. So, do you think you'll ever, like, because me, it kind of twisted my mentality on marriage, not because I'm like, oh, divorce, it's gonna be divorce. I'm scared to get divorced if I ever were to get married, because that's not an expectation that you would have if you get married, But I don't know if I would get married. It's a lot of stuff like attached with that, so I don't know. A lot of people around us have gotten divorced.
I'm honestly not scared of divorce, and I feel, I don't know, people, I think, don't want to get divorced. Like my mom had said earlier, it's like she felt like she failed at something. And I don't think it's failing. To me, I don't think it's failing. I think if we got divorced, we gave it our all. Sometimes you got to know when to throw the flag. Like what's that saying? Like,
it's time to say no.
Right. When it's time to just break apart, it's better than just trying to hold on to something that's going to make you
both unhappy, resent each other, make you a bitter person,
Yeah. Like, and nobody should be scared of failing. And I think that's where, I don't know. I feel like we grow up and we don't want to fail.
No, of course, but that's
how we're going to get ahead.
That's what allows growth.
Exactly.
You got to fail to pick yourself back up and learn from it,
Exactly. So it's not necessarily I'm scared of divorce, because if I fail, I'll learn the next time, I'll learn the next time around. But
see, I don't want to go through that whole process of like being together, then divorcing, and then get married again. And I just, I don't know.
But I feel like that's the beauty of it. Life is messy. Like, you have to take the messiness.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta accept that you don't know what's gonna happen.
I feel like if I'm gonna marry you, I'm for sure about you. Like, we're gonna be dating some years before we get married. It isn't gonna be like 2 years and we're getting married and that's it, Like, I need to know you.
Right.
Before anything.
But what if something happens like 10 years down in the marriage and like, I don't know, you thought you knew them, and then they cheat.
I think
and
that's the thing. I don't think it's ever an expectation when you get married to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna get divorced. It's always something that just happens, like it doesn't work out all the time. But man, I just can't. I don't know. I don't like to think about it. I'm like, when I'm there, I'll think about it.
I'm like always thinking about it. Really? Even like now, I have a really good relationship and nothing's wrong with it. But I'm always like, this, it could end. You know what I'm saying? Like, not trying to be negative about it or anything, just kind of being, maybe I'm like too much of a realist, like being realistic.
Yeah, don't claim it. Don't claim it. Just,
right.
You can have that thought. I feel like, okay, it might happen, but it's not happening now. We're good now.
Right. And like that's what I usually do, but I don't find myself falling into this is gonna last forever, because that's kind of like setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Like, the expectation is root of all heartache. If you expect it to last forever and then it doesn't, that's when your whole life shatters.
Be here now.
Right.
Enjoy it now.
I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense the way you say it. I don't know. I just got to get that. I've just always been like, no to marriage right now. No. But I told myself I'm not having no more kids till I'm married, and that's a fact. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna have another baby daddy.
Birth control.
Yes, for sure.
What's been the hardest thing for you about a breakup? Like, I feel like we both had our hardest breakup for sure. You're going through it right now.
Yeah.
My hardest breakup happened before my recent my boyfriend now, so it's kind of.
It's been about let me stop. It sounded like I was crying.
She's fine. It's going to be fine. We're okay.
I don't know. Like, it's just because I have a kid with him, with regular... I just can't talk today. With a regular relationship, you usually can... It's hard. A regular breakup is hard, Any breakup is hard sometimes. But when you have a kid with them, you can't just like, okay, I'm never talking to you again. It's a little harder just because you have to still communicate with them for the child. And it's just something new for me, I can say. Definitely. And it's hard as fuck because, of course, I still have love for him. I'm going to have love for him and treat him, with respect and everything for the case of Jonah, regardless of what emotions we have. That's the hard thing about it. This is definitely a growth thing for me because I have to put emotion aside a lot of the time because my emotions don't match up to what is right at the moment half the time, and it's not what's best for my son. So I have a lot to think about other than myself when it comes to that, So, it's been 5 months. It's still hard trying to co-parent and stuff. It's different. It's definitely an adjustment, from damn near 6 years to being completely different, So it's like we had these plans, like I was saying earlier, you have plans of someone, you have these things. It just happens, man. It's a part of life, I guess. And it's definitely a growing and learning experience for me. And like I was thinking the other day, like most of my 20s, I've been in a relationship. So like, I don't know. It's just... It's kind of crazy to think that I'm single now and I'm almost 30, like, damn.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting over. What the hell's going on? Like, but, I think that everything will come with me working on myself and working on things that I need to work on in my life. It'll come on its own. I don't have to go out and look for somebody and try to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? It'll happen. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not in a rush. I'm just taking it as it comes and just going with the flow.
That's good. I mean, when I went through my breakup, I think the hardest part for me, the fact where you were saying the emotional thing,
taking your emotion out of the
taking
situation.
your emotions out of it, and that was so hard for me because my emotions were all up in it.
Right.
I was like, but I love him.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing. I made a mistake, and there would be times where I'm like super good, and then there would be times where I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I ruined it. Did I ruin something? Did I do this? Did I do that? I'm sorry. I messed up. And what? If y'all knew. Like, what? I messed up. Okay, whatever. We're not going to get into it. But, you start to question all your decisions. You start to question if you did the right thing. At least for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because my normal got all shook up. And I didn't know what normal was anymore, so I got scared, I think.
I think that for a long time I was thinking about what could have been different to make this outcome different, like what could we have done that would have been different, But it was a lot of the stuff that divorces happen is the same reasons, like some of them were because that's the reasons we broke up, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think I found myself a lot because when I broke up with my ex, he dropped me completely. He dropped me, moved to another state. I didn't hear from him for months. And so it was harder. I had to get over. It's kind of like he shut me out. So it was kind of I felt very disrespected. So like I was like, it was a little harder for me. So I feel like in my head, I started playing out scenarios like, oh, if he comes back, if he calls me, maybe we can make things work. Maybe he just needs time to think about it. Maybe he needs this. Maybe he needs that. I remember I was...
That denial and that...
Right.
What were the 7 steps of grief?
The 7 steps of grief, bitch. My ass went through every single one of them.
The shock denial, pain, guilt, the anger, bargaining, depression, reflection, and loneliness.
Yes.
The upward turn, reconstruction and working through, and the acceptance and hope.
Yes. Yes.
And then, what else did we talk about? The changes that come with, like, along with having kids after a divorce. Holidays are not the same. Freaking, you're gaining your independence, healing, being alone. You have no help as you used to. Or the kids' parties, all that stuff is just...
It's just on you.
Yeah. Tons of stuff thrown in there as well.
It's crazy. Like, it really is like grieving. You're grieving, like, how it's like you lost somebody. If you lost somebody, like, through a death. but you lost somebody through a breakup or through a divorce. It's the same thing. And it's so crazy because I went through all that shit. And I thought I was never going to pull through. I was like, oh my God.
And here we are, right?
I know.
I can't wait till I'm to that point where I'm just not, I don't want to say not sad about it anymore because I'm not as sad as I used to be. You know, day by day it gets better. Mm-hmm. But just thinking about all the things I could have done different, you know, like with myself. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me like, gives me motivation to do even more with myself because it's like, okay, you're supposed to go through this process because you're forgetting who you were. Mm-hmm. You are Jacqueline Quinones and this is who you are, you know, and I want to like bring that back and know who I am. I want someone to ask me, you know, in 2 words, explain to me or give me 3 words that describe you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be like, yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
This is what I am.
Right.
You know, I want to get to that point again because I'm not there. I kind of lost that. So...
and you'll get there. It's all a process.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing I think to remember, too, is, like, sometimes we're put in situations or we're put in relationships, and then we find ourselves asking the universe or asking God, like, please put me in situations that I'm going to belong in. You know, like, praying, like, eliminate the people that are supposed to be in my life or not supposed to be in my life, and, like, put me in good positions. And then when it happens... and it's not necessarily the thing that we thought needed to change or like the way that we thought it needed to happen, it gets a little confusing, but it's kind of like this is what we asked for in a sense. Like I kept asking the universe, like, oh, just please put me in a position that I'm supposed to be. Please keep, you know, I found myself praying all the time about that. And then, okay, well, you want to be in a good standing. You want to be where you're supposed to be going, you're going to have to eliminate this person, and one of the people is going to happen to be your boyfriend, and it's going to be really fucking hard, and here you go. You know?
By the way, bitch.
But, like, I literally asked for it, and then it came, and I didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
So it's, like, really true. Like, be careful what you wish for, because...
it could happen.
It's going to happen.
You're not going to know what to do sometimes.
But it's also, like, take it as it is. This is what I asked for. This is what is given to me. So it's for a reason. You know, like it's for
hard.
a reason.
It's very hard to look at the positive of those things when you're such in a bad, right? Of course, you know, like oh my God, I lost this, and it's like, but what are you gaining from it? You know,
right?
And that's one thing that you have to be strong about, thinking about, and strong-willed when it comes to. Oh, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Kind of like you have to you can't let like the negative aspect of it like affect you too much. Even though
think about the positive and the things that you can gain from this after everything is done.
Right.
Said and done.
I'm not saying like to be positive and ray of sunshine all the time. Like sometimes you just need to fucking cry. Yeah. If you need to cry that shit out.
But my thing with that is don't cry. You can cry. Let your tears out. And I'm not just saying once because, you know, for me, I'm a damn crybaby. So sometimes I'm, like, randomly crying with movies and shit. So, like, I feel like cry it out. But know when it's time to stop crying.
And pick yourself up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And figure out what's going on and not let it affect you that way anymore. You got to be adamant about saying, you know, I'm not going to let this affect me that way anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let it destroy my attitude and my self-confidence or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So pick yourself up.
And be your own cheerleader. Because when you lose, when your norm gets shaken up and you start losing the people that you thought were going to help you through hard times and all you got is yourself, you gotta know how to be there for yourself. Especially through a divorce. And especially people that divorce with kids. Or break up with kids. Like you were saying, you kind of have to, like, put your emotions aside and you have to be strong so you can keep doing what you need to do.
I feel like when you're with someone for so long, you damn near are married, especially if you live together and you split bills. You're damn near married. It's just not on paper. Mm-hmm. And it's like a divorce without the paperwork.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I mean, it's better shit.
Right.
Because divorce, it gets expensive.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I think, like, the very minimum is, like, $400, around that range. But when you have to get, like, lawyers involved and legal shit and who takes what, and people expensive. Are fighting for shit and lawyers have to really get involved in that shit, right. It can cost a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you don't have the right person.
And I know some states, Florida, I looked it up. Florida doesn't have you be separated for a period of time before you get a divorce.
You could just get a divorce.
You could just get a divorce. But some states, you have to be separated, I think, for at least 6 months or some shit like that.
They want to give you time to work it out.
Right. Really think about if this is the move you want to make.
Look, but that's all about the communication. And we were talking about earlier how some breakups are good breakups. Like, they aren't ending on bad notes. There's no resentment.
Yeah.
You just know what it is. You know how you feel. You guys are mature enough to talk about it, and you split things accordingly, or you come to an agreement of whatever the case is. And I mean, I feel like when people think of breakups, they automatically think they're so bad.
Yeah,
They're all bad breakups, and then you see people who have like these good relationships with their exes, or their good relationships
right,
with
they're
their
like best friends and shit afterwards.
Yeah, and then you're just like, how did it not work? And you're just like, it just ain't work.
Yeah,
we're friends now though.
Right, I love her, but I ain't never gonna be with her again. Like you hear that all the time.
Yeah,
which is perfect world. I wish that can always happen.
Yeah,
like everyone's on the same page about shit, but no.
But to kind of end things, I think we should just say to embrace the change when it comes to breakups and divorce. Be open to the new things that are for you. What is for you will come back, even if it's let go, So I feel like just take things as they are and deal with it accordingly. Have your moments, because you can have your moments. There's nothing wrong with that. Just remember to pick yourself up.
And be a bad bitch.
Right.
Be a bad bitch you were always meant to be. Because he or she was not in your life when you were born, when you were growing up. Like, no.
Right. right. No, it's true.
Remember that bad bitch you were before you met that person. Because they're still in there.
Remember that bad bitch you were.
Right. That person is still in there.
And just embrace it and be that bad bitch again,
Right. It's going to take a minute to find the inner bad bitch. But she in there. He in there. They're going to come out. But yeah, as always, thank you. Do you want to add anything else?
No, nothing.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. Let us know what you think. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the Wind Down.
Welcome to the Wind Down.
It's your two favorite girls, JQ,
Dolly.
Don't forget.
Welcome to the... Okay, we're done. But
She's always in this dancing mood. You're so funny.
It's fun. We didn't get a wind down last week. I feel like it's just kind of hard because the wind down was meant to like catch you guys up on the week.
And in our lives, aside from, because we record at different times. We don't record the day of and put it out and things like that.
Right.
We record ahead of time. So we just use the wind downs to kind of like
a quick like behind the scenes recap
or update on our current lives, you
right.
know, as to what's going on. But our current life has been this fucking corona.
Right.
So
there hasn't been much going on.
Right. So we're not out doing stuff and out and about and meeting with people or anything like that. It's been just hard because we're stuck at home. And then we make it a point to meet, you know, just to be able to give you guys content. But I think that maybe in the future we're gonna still try to give you wind downs, but it might be a fewer.
Yeah, maybe
just because of what's going on.
Yeah, or maybe we'll switch. Who knows? Maybe we could switch up the idea of the wind down to where it's not necessarily catching us that we're kind of doing something else. I don't know. It's still in the works, but we did want to give you a wind down for sure this week.
Just to kind of let you know everything that's going on.
Right, and tell you
how we
kind of
feeling.
why last week we didn't have one. To start this one though, I wanted to say something I read that I wanted to say in last week's episode, but I forgot. On Instagram, I saw this, and it was by Shane Booty. Shout out to Shane Booty. I love her. She's like a sex therapist kind of person. She wrote a book, and I'm reading her book right now, and it's
What's
like
his last name really Booty?
Shane Booty, yeah.
Shane Booty.
Bootrum, something like that. But she says Shane Booty.
Like Shane
something
Booty.
like that. But I love her, and oh my God, I love her. She's gorgeous. She's so like real. I love her. I'm reading her book right now, and it's
what is it called?
What's the name of it?
I just know it's really good.
I'll tag it. But it's kind of like dating with dominance, and like how to do everything in your life with dominance and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And it was her birthday the other day, and she had to celebrate in quarantine, in lockdown. She lives in New York.
Oh, man.
And it was her and her husband, and she said it, like, it's been, like, the most weirdest birthday celebration that she's had.
Heck yeah.
And
I bet.
yeah, and it was, like, super emotional for her. But then she wrote on her post, she put, "I'm alive, you're alive. Despite the uncertainty that we are in, no future can change the truth of our present. We are loved, favored, needed, wanted, held up, and we are holding the fuck up through the storm."
Yes. I like that.
Right?
She's on Instagram?
Yeah, girl.
You're going to have to send me a post or something so I can add her.
Yeah, I'll send it.
I love good quotes. Love me a good quote.
I know, me too. And I read that and I'm like, you know what? You're fucking right. Like, we are holding the fuck up. And that's important, because I feel like the more that this goes on, the more that we're like, what is happening?
Girl,
Everything
I
is getting
heard,
weird.
and I saved this for this, but I heard that there was a girl who committed suicide. She was like 15 years old. Supposedly because she was not used to being in lockdown and stuff like that, and just being in the house all the time. And I said, this pendeja.
Well, I was reading that some people, you know, they keep their minds busy. That's why they're out all the time. People that are out all the time keeping themselves busy so they don't have to sit with their thoughts.
Right.
You know, this is a really hard time for them.
Ooh, I didn't think of it that way, because I'm just like, what? She did what? Because of what?
Turn Netflix on.
Girl, you have tons of stuff to do. But I guess she was very well known, though I kind of felt bad for the parents, because then, like, as a parent, you're like, what did I do wrong? That fucking corona. You know, like.
But I feel like some people don't really realize that they try to preoccupy their time so that they block out all their thoughts and stuff. They just kind of stay busy. It might not even
be something they notice, because it's such a habit.
Exactly.
You know?
And now they're like forced to sit with their thoughts, and it can get crazy.
Yeah.
My cousin in New York was saying how people getting admitted into the hospital for having anxiety attacks and panic attacks and shit. Like,
that's craziness.
It's like, this is just a time to be like, it's a weird time, but we're holding up. Like, don't forget that we are still here. We are still present. We are still.
I told myself that, like, because I know I'm gonna spend my birthday in quarantine. May 12th, by the way.
Virtual birthday party.
Yes. Woo. I'm gonna be taking a shot, so I'll take a shot for you guys on live.
Yeah.
No, May 12th, be there.
We'll set a time later.
But I'm thinking of just doing like a little cookout, something just normal, you know, something tiny, something normal, you know. Big old party, yeah, right. No, I know I'm gonna be in quarantine, but I'm just like, don't look at it that way. Just be grateful that you're still alive, that you're not out here sick, knock on wood, you know, and then you're here another year and you have time to still accomplish your goals in life. So I'm like, yes, I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be a milestone for me. Like, okay, this is your birthday. You better work the rest of the year, you know, regardless of what's going on. So like, I've been pretty pumped.
That's
been trying to be excited, you know.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, girl.
And I'm just going back out into the real, like going to our old norm. Yeah. Going back into that, it's gonna be so exciting. Oh my God.
I know. It's gonna start off slow, I believe. Like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely slow, but it'll go back to normal. At some point.
It'll be good soon, hopefully.
I know.
It will. Yeah.
We have a lot more stuff than, you know, back in the day how they used to.
Right. At least we're like.
At least we got Netflix.
We're locked down pretty luxuriously.
Yeah, we are. Like, what? People compare it to jail. It's like, no, not really.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
You're able to go out. I mean, it's not like jail.
Right. I rode bikes yesterday. I'm like, this is fucking nice. It's great.
I saw someone on a double bike the other day, and I thought of you, Dali.
Aww.
I was like, oh, look, they had a double bike. I love seeing the double bike. I'm like, I want one so bad. That's going to be a goal of mine, to get one for me and Jonah.
They're so fun.
That'd be so cute.
But yeah, that was our little quick, I think it's been 5 minutes. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I mentioned my birthday, so.
We're all good. I'll let you know, my birthday's November. We better not be spending it in quarantine.
Damn, that'd be crazy.
For real. We'll see.
Hopefully we aren't, you know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm excited, though. Just to, I guess, be 28. Old as shit.
Welcome to the club. Join on my side.
Oh my God, that's so funny. No, I don't want to.
Dude, the other day, I was feeling, what was I feeling? Kind of like, I thought I was sick, but I wasn't. I don't know. But I'm like, yeah, that was so weird. And my mom's like, are you about to get your period? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, sometimes you feel like that when you're about to get your period.
Yeah,
and I'm
girl.
like, I've never felt like that.
Like
before.
shitty?
Yeah. And
Like
she
you're about
was,
to get sick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
girl.
she's like, you know, sometimes you feel like that when you're about to get your period. And I'm like, I've never felt like that. She's like, well, you know, you're about to be 30. And she's like, your body changes when you're about to be 30. And I was like, no, I am not about to be 30. I'm about to be 29.
You know girl, for a while I felt like that. Like I would get like a cold, little weak cold or something like that.
Yeah.
It would be something tiny, but it's because your immune system is down. When you're dealing with all that BS, your immune system is down. So you're more susceptible to getting sick.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Facts.
It's great being a woman.
Wonderful. But anyways, we'll wrap this up.
Yes.
Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later.
Bye.